So Keith, when we're talking about gardens and the gardens we've seen, some of the alpine gardens that we created today, one of the most common, most popular trees ever installed are aspen trees.
Well, you know, if you spent any time up in the mountains at all, you probably want to bring some of that beautiful quaking aspen sound and movement to your own
That great
yard.
fall color. So there's two varieties that you can shop for. You're probably only going to find them, however, at independent garden centers.
Exactly. This back here is your typical quaking aspen like you'd see up in the mountains. But right next to it here is its Nordic cousin, the Swedish aspen. A little bit different growth style, very upright and columnar, almost like a Lombardy poplar, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So
Very
it
narrow.
fits very well when you have a tight spot that you need to get some shade.
And the other cool thing about the Swedish aspens is no suckering, which is tremendous when it comes to aspen, because aspen are kind of notorious for suckering up around the yard.
The most important thing to know and understand is when you're choosing an aspen, you want to have nursery grown aspen. You can get them in small containers and 1 gallons. The best part about that is since they're in a 1 gallon container or any size container, they're nursery grown, they're in their containers, so you have the entire root system intact.
Every root it ever grew.
Every root it ever grew. Whereas if you have collected aspen, they're ripped out of the ground. They're not going to have the majority of the root system intact, which makes it difficult for the survivability of aspen.
You're lucky to get 10% of the roots on those collected aspen out of the mountains. There's a few things you might want to have in your home arsenal when you have aspen, just in case. And one of my favorites is this little blue bottle of Bayer tree and shrub. It's called Protect and Feed. It's like magic in a bottle. Aspen have a tendency to get 2 little problems or 3.
Number 1.
Aphids.
Lots of times get aphids. A lot of times people come into the nursery complaining that they have ants or bees attacking their tree.
And it's because they have aphids. Those bees, the yellow jackets, feed on the sticky stuff the aphids produce. Number 2, scale.
Scale can be problematic.
And scale creates little bumps on the trunk of the tree and up on the branches. Number 3 is twig gall, which makes the little lumps in the branches along the branch.
It won't really kill a tree, but it can kill off branches, and it's aesthetically unappealing.
It's not very attractive, exactly. So this will take care of all 3 of the problems. This is a product that you put in the ground, right around the base of the tree, water it in. It protects the tree against those 3 bugs for 12 months. That's why I call it magic in a bottle.
So basically, with your spring cleaning, go ahead and add it every spring.
Every spring. And then the other problem that it gets once in a while down here, because it's not really adapted to these lower elevations, aspen will get a leaf spot disease that happens in wet springs like we had this year.
It was really wet.
Really wet. So if we're into a wet spring, you know you'll need to apply a fungicide to the foliage to keep the black spots from disfiguring the leaves. When the leaves are about this size, right here, just new and coming out, you'll want to apply this. Not later when you see the spots. It's too late. Aspen, even though they grow in the mountains, they like lots of moisture. So don't stress your aspen trees by drying them out too much. And that should pretty well cover all your aspen essentials, don't you think?
That's absolutely right. So aspen essentials, it's aspenentials is what we've told you about today.
Exactly.